Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grin Guardian Gang. We're glad you're here. Hope everybody's having a great night. Safe shift if you're watching or listening from a truck or a unit out there. We have a great and exciting guest tonight, and we're going to bring her in just a moment. Hello, Wendell. Welcome to the chat. I hope you are sharing my show and telling everybody to go like, subscribe, and follow at the Land Between the Lakes. Hate I missed it, but who knows? I might just find out some Bigfoot information tonight, too. You never know. So, no other real news. You can catch me still on the Thin Line Rock Station every Tuesday and Thursday, noon to 1400 Eastern Time. That's a great station for public safety. And, of course, we are live right now on yergsradio.com. If you can only get the audio section, you can go over to yergsradio.com. And you can also call into the show if you have a question for any of us, our guest or one of the hosts here, and we will make it happen. It's 1-888-88-YERGZ. It's 1-888-88-YERGZ. Let's see who we got back here. I see Corey has popped in. Hello, Mr. Corey. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How you been, man? You got any snow out there?
No, it actually all just finally melted here in the last couple days. But yeah, last weekend we got about 8 inches. So
holy cow! Yeah, my son had 14 inches yesterday or the day before.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's spring in Montana.
Yeah. All right. Well, our guest tonight, she is an animal control officer with a major metropolitan department. And Sergeant Sharon is here. Let's bring her in. She's been backstage. And I'm just going to call you Sarge if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine. My name's complicated, so this is the easier way to do it.
Okay, cool. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you do, all your good stories, all that stuff. I move everybody around here a little bit, so.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry about my dog. She's trying to get into stuff, so now she's in my lap. So I guess to just get started, I am an animal control officer. So I'm, I've worked in that type of field for about 17 years. I did actually start in my jurisdiction working at the animal shelter. Oh, wait, sorry. Rewind real quick. For a full disclaimer, I'm not going to name my department or anything like that, but I also just need to do the whole, I'm not speaking on behalf of my department in case anyone figures it out. And also I'm speaking as an individual and or union representative if needed. But again, not speaking on behalf of my department, but we're not going to name it just to avoid all of that. But I am, I have a sort of a different title than officially animal control officer, but that is what we're known as. But to kind of get started, how I started in public safety, I actually started working for my local animal shelter in my jurisdiction. When I was 18, I was an administrative assistant for a while. That was at the end of 2007. And then what had happened was I always wanted to work with animals. And that was a good kind of career field for me to start in. Our animal shelter was under our police department at the time, and I did always want to be a police officer. What had happened was, if everyone remembers what was going on at the end of 2007, I got hired essentially right before a hiring freeze. And then there was a huge reduction in force a couple years later, and I was the least senior person on that list. And what ended up happening was I had already worked to kind of help the operational side of things at the animal shelter. So I ended up becoming an animal caretaker at that animal shelter, in a job that I actually ended up liking more than the administrative side of things. So I got riffed into that position, but I ended up liking it more, ironically enough. And that's really kind of where I developed a bunch of my skill set for working with animals. And that's kind of where I decided I wanted to merge my, wanting to work with animals and law enforcement into one career path. And my jurisdiction had that career path. So in 2007, I went through the police academy, and I became an animal control officer. In my jurisdiction, we are sworn police officers. We meet all the same mandated criteria and training and all those things. We're armed, ballistic vests, everything. We're able to handle what we need to handle. And, but we kind of focus on the animal side of things essentially. So I've been doing that for, about almost 13 years. And then I ended up getting promoted in 2020 to sergeant. So I was in charge of a squad for a while, which I do, very much enjoy. And at the same time, during all of that, I did get involved in our union that we have here because of, there's always shenanigans when you work for local government. So I am involved in our local union as well. And we recently, negotiated a whole collective bargaining contract. So that was definitely a new thing that I developed an interest in. That was kind of, it was new, but it was, I think, very beneficial to the employees. But that's kind of been my path so far. And I'm trying to, off the cuff, think of the weird, fun stories. Our jurisdiction is about probably 1.2 to 1.5 million people. It's not like a it's not technically a city. So it's spread out about 300 to 400 square miles. So we do actually have a good mix of very consolidated urban areas that are very city-like, and then also these larger wooded areas where we encounter livestock or hunting, complaints, and all the wild animals that come with large, heavily wooded areas. So bears, deer, all that stuff. So we get a good mix of really all of it in the environment that we're in.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know there was bears there.
Yeah. So usually black bears. Okay. They usually stick to the heavy area of the woods. Sure. But we do get calls because people who live near there like their bird feeders, and bears also like bird feeders. So if you have an issue with bears, take down your bird feeders for a while, and make sure to secure your trash cans, and they'll eventually move along as long as there's not a food source or anything like that. And I apologize for my voice. I'm getting over something a little bit.
Oh, that's all good. I thought maybe you've been yelling at some perp or something. So that's good.
I mean,
could do. So you could write a speeding ticket and get 100 at the same time. I like it. I like that.
Technically, yeah, I haven't. I guess the last traffic citation I wrote was actually livestock on a highway. Someone had they decided that they wanted to rescue a wild Mustang from Montana and bring it several thousand miles away, and it then proceeded to escape the barn that it was in and run down a heavily populated highway while we were chasing it. And that was a several hour ordeal until we eventually got it. And the owner got a ticket for that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Corey, how do you find a wild Mustang in Montana? That's out your way. How do you...
We have a few. They're all over.
Sounds like a raccoon.
We do have quite a few wild Mustangs around Montana.
Yeah, this is not a place where wild horses roam, so it caused a little bit of a ruckus. And of course, it was a black horse, and it was midnight when it was running down this highway.
Please, Halloween.
And I have a related story to that that's definitely going to give a few things away that involves a llama and a very similar story. Different highway, but it was a black horse. It was the middle of the night. And then, when the owner finally showed up, they're like, oh, he's becoming a free horse. And I'm like, can we just catch the horse, please? So it doesn't get hit by a car and cause way more issues than we need to deal with right now. So and again, the section of road that doesn't have streetlights. So it's ideal.
Nice. That's always the luck. Yeah, I could imagine that would be odd. In Atlanta, since I've worked here, We've had tigers, bears, zebra, all running down I-20.
Mhm.
Circus, I guess, truck overturned, and it wasn't in our jurisdiction, but the animals didn't know jurisdiction, so they
Yeah,
just
they
followed.
made their way there.
And so, yeah, we didn't have anything to do with it, but it was funny because, there people were calling in. There's a zebra on I-20, and it's like, wait, yeah, okay, you're high. What have you smoked?
So you're in Atlanta right now, right? I'm sorry.
That's correct. That's
So
correct.
I just read on the news that Fulton County ended their contract for animal control as of 5 p.m. for the city of Atlanta today.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess there was some contract dispute or something. That was literally, I was reading that article before I jumped on here, actually.
Well, they need them. I can tell you that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the zebra's nowhere to go now because there's gonna be nowhere to wrangle. I'm sure they'll work it out eventually.
Probably. Corey, do you have animal control? How does that work out in your way? He's wearing a
we have
too there.
Well, we got within the city limits, we have animal control officers. They're not sworn or anything. They just do animal complaints. In the county, all the deputies deal with the animal control issues in the county. So yeah, no, we have a lot of animal complaints within the city and county. There's everything from loose cows, horses, llamas, bear. We got some kitty cats that like to wander within the city limits too. So those are a little bit on edge to a lot of people when they come into the city limits. So yeah.
The cat issue.
Yeah. Do you have any? I mean, I guess wildcats, as far as bobcats, are probably pretty much everywhere, but the bigger cats, they don't pose much of a problem up there, do they?
Up where I'm at? No, I mean, you in one of the heavily wooded areas, like you may possibly see a bobcat where I am, but like that's very, very rare. We do get phone calls about cougars that are not here. But what will happen is someone will swear that they saw a cougar. And then, the jokes ensue about, well, did you check PJ Skidoos or wherever? For it, there's always the jokes. And what kind of happens is deer are the same color as mountain lions and cougars. And so once it gets out in the news, every deer on the side of the road becomes a cougar. And it kind of snowballs from there. But for all the cougar calls I've ever gotten, I've yet to find one. We did get a deer on the side of the road did turn into a kangaroo somehow, where that started a snowball effect where people were calling in kangaroos. It was a deer. We've gotten flamingo calls where, it turned out to be one of the lawn ornament flamingos. We get the fake alligators in the ponds. People call about those. We did get someone swears they saw an anaconda one time. Wouldn't be able to survive here. What was the other one? Because there's anaconda, and every once in a while you're like, no, and then it turns out that it is the thing. I'm trying to remember if we had a porcupine. We don't have porcupines around here, but one did get loose from a local zoo, and so we were like, oh, we don't have those around here. It's probably a groundhog, and then that was a porcupine. So. We didn't end up finding it. The zoo people ended up eventually finding it. And I had this whole plan. I was like, how hard could it be? I'll just throw a towel on it and I won't get quilled. And then I found out later that it was not what you do.
No, you don't do that.
My job is a lot of winging it, which is probably not the best training method, but sometimes you just gotta go for it. Like, for example, we did have our own llama incident. People get llamas, they want to shear them for wool, or they're, the alpacas, I think, are better like pet farm animals. Llamas are mean, or they can be mean, and they spit at you, and it smells exactly as bad as you think it is. It does, because and there is a lot of it. So we had an incident again. Of
So
course,
you're speaking from experience here.
Yeah. 6 midnight, and black llama running down the highway with no street lights. And one of the officers on the squad I was on was just minding their own business, driving back to secure for the night, and was, that was a llama. And they stop and try to catch it. She almost lassoed it with a dog leash. It was pretty impressive to watch on the body worn camera. You could hardly see anything, but she almost got it with the dog leash, and then it got chased into a yard. And eventually, after not being able to lasso it, another officer and a bunch of police officers nearby kind of corralled it, and she just jumped on it and tackled it. And then we got it in the livestock trailer, and the rest was history on that one. But it was about, I would say, 4 or 5 of us trying to hold on to this llama, and it was just dragging us around. Those things are no joke. The alpacas are a lot smaller. Llamas, they're strong. And then we found out later that this was a 20-year-old llama, and I looked up how long they live, and they live 15 to 20 years. And I was like, man, we got beat by a geriatric llama. It was like a grandma llama, and it still was just dragging us all over the place. We got it though. And I got to teach a bunch of people how to turn a dog leash into a llama halter. So that was good MacGyver of a situation. I'm sorry about my cat. If you can hear her.
Yeah. So what about exotic things? I know snakes and stuff like that. Do they ever people's pets?
Yes. So we get people who do breed the bigger, the boas and stuff, but that's not, super uncommon and not necessarily illegal depending on the size. What is illegal in our jurisdiction is having venomous snakes. So we do periodically have to address that. And I can tell you, if you Google the snake before you start trying to corral it, then there's no known anti-venom for it. And then it makes you a lot more nerve-wracking to try and corral the snake. I had one where someone had a lot of venomous snakes they were not supposed to have. A couple of them were gaboon vipers, which they're not the deadliest snake in the world, but they have the longest fangs and the longest fang to venom ratio. So it might not necessarily kill you, but you're getting a lot of that venom. And I think they would have to airlift anti-venom in from Florida if one of us were to get bit by one of those. And then there were some puff adders, which are the ones that have no known anti-venom for. And of course, those were little tiny baby ones that I was trying to be very careful not to drop when I was putting them in a bucket to take them to a zoo that could handle them, essentially.
Wow.
And I'm trying to think of any other. Periodically, people just own stuff that you're not really supposed to own. In different jurisdictions, the thing is, every state has different laws when it comes to animals and exotics. Some states, it's a free-for-all. And we have a state not too far away where it's kind of a free-for-all. So people go there and they bring things back that are not a free-for-all here. Like alligators. Can't have alligators. You can't have monkeys. There was an incident with a kinkajou, which is a type of, I believe, South American raccoon. So we had to. You're always in for a good time when we have to Google what the illegal exotic animal is that you have. And it's never. You never find it because someone calls about that animal. It's always some other call. Sometimes it's the fire department goes in and they're like, so what did you get bit by? And the person's like, oh, this is my gaboon viper. Or my service coatimundi, or something to that effect. Or even, the police go for something else and it's some crazy animal. Haven't had too many Tiger King incidents in the last 10 years, but I probably just jinxed it. So we'll probably get a Tiger King.
Yeah, it's like using the Q word. Never use the Q word.
We do have a local zoo that has cheetahs, but cheetahs are kind of dog-like, so I'm hoping that if like that ever happens, we'll be able to handle that. We don't have any tigers that are legally owned as far as we know, so they can't be. But
So have you had to wrangle an alligator yet?
we've gotten them out of like people's bathtubs, so not like a loose one yet. I personally haven't. I know people who've had to wrangle a emu. They kick hard. And usually the alligator is living in someone's bathtub, so you gotta wrangle it out of there. I don't know why they always live in someone's bathtub in an apartment. It's never anyone who has like a large house with a terrarium in their backyard that they've set up perfectly for a habitat for this alligator. It's always living in someone's bathtub for whatever reason, every time.
And I imagine it's not very friendly. Corey, have you ever answered any of these calls?
Nope. No, I'm good.
He just sees the alligator in the bathtub and he's like, no, I'm good. Like we're good.
I've walked into a house before that had a raccoon skull in a boiling pot of water on the stove.
What?
Did they just find it and they were cleaning it?
Yeah, well, the same apartment, and obviously it was an apartment as well. So it was a 2-bedroom apartment, and one of the bedrooms was actually dedicated to the litter box for the cats. It literally had 3 inches of litter in the entire bedroom, and that was the cat's litter box. So, and as well as a 4-year-old.
Oh, that's always good. Did you have to did you do what were the could you go in there without the hazmat equipment if were the ammonia levels okay?
I did go in there, but you could smell the pneumonia from outside the house.
Oh, that's
outside the apartment. So yeah.
We do have protocols for that.
That was an automatic call to DFS for the child.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
we have hoarding level protocols for the PPE we need to wear depending on how bad it stings your face when you walk in. But generally what we'll do is we'll call the fire department out for them to do the oxygen levels. And there's been quite a few times where we've had, when it's a house that's overrun with cats and they're just using the whole house as a litter box, we've had to basically back out and could only go in for like 15 minutes at a time in full hazmat gear to get, these animals out. And that, of course, again, will only ever happen in the 100-degree heat index days. Where the air conditioning in the house doesn't work because you can't get to anything. And that's typically how that goes. But we deal with one of those probably at least once a year, the really bad hoarding cases where we have to bring out safety officers and do the full PPE, get up with the respirators and everything. The last one, I think there was a whole structural integrity issue too, because there was so much stuff in the house that they were worried that it was going to collapse on us, which it's always fun.
I walked into a house one time that it was out in the country, and it was about 150 yards from the house where we parked, and we're walking up to the house, and we can actually literally smell the ammonia at our vehicle. We walk up to the house, and there was 3 of us that went out to this house, and we walked up to the house. We walked inside. And the solid floor was full of puppy pads.
Oh boy. You just put more on top of each other?
Yes. Yeah. So the cats utilized every puppy pad, even in the bedrooms. And there was feces. Like even in the walk-in closet, it was solid urine and feces on the floor. It was completely disgusting. That it was unbelievably gross. That was probably the worst house I've ever walked into.
Yeah, typically there's, obviously a mental health component to it.
Maybe. She's actually an accountant.
Oh yeah, no, there's
the federal government makes it even better.
Yeah.
There's an interesting, I guess, you know, when you look at the psychology of hoarding, it's always, you know, it's very rarely people who, you know, are, you know, lower income or, and they tend to also be, you know, an accountant is interesting, but they also tend to, you know, be a lot in caregiver roles. And it's almost, you know, like I have to take care of these things and then it just becomes overwhelming. And then there's like a disassociation from it slightly. And then you get sort of used to it. And then maybe there's a little bit of oxygen deprivation at a certain point.
Absolutely.
We've definitely dealt with like a whole spectrum of, you know, people who just got overwhelmed and need some help with their, you know, mental health issues. And we've been able to assist with that process to people who are going to fight us for taking our cats. Like they don't fight you to take the kids. You're not fighting over the kids. They'll fight you over the cats.
So
they don't even know
now,
how many but they'll fight
I'm actually able to discuss a little bit now. We had an officer involved shooting here about a month ago.
Oh.
And the sheriff's office responded to, they were actually going to serve a search warrant on this lady. She has actually been prohibited from owning any type of animals.
Oh yeah.
She's had over 100 animals on her property at one time: cats, horses, dogs, cows, you name it. She's had animals. Well, it was actually, she was sentenced, and one of the sentencing conditions was to absolutely own 0 pets.
Yeah.
They found out that she's had animals, so they went to serve a search warrant on her, and her significant other actually turned and shot at one of our deputies. And
oh my god.
Yeah, and needless to say, he's fine. He's back to work.
Yeah, I'm glad.
It was a bullet that went through and through. But the suspect is deceased. This just happened a month ago.
Wow. That
over animals.
Yeah. It's a more dangerous job than people think. And we're actually kind of having this debate right now about in I guess my jurisdiction, but it's kind of a debate back and forth that is good in every state I've heard it is whether or not, you know, animal control officers need to be sworn. Is it cheaper to have, you know, someone who's not law enforcement, you know, go out and handle these types of things? But it really is a more dangerous job than people realize. And you're always going to have that element of law enforcement involved because of situations like that. Especially because it also just happened in, if you heard about what happened in Washington, D.C., they were serving an animal cruelty warrant and the suspect shot 3 Metro police officers when they were trying to serve the warrant. And luckily, one of the guys, he was wearing a ballistic vest, and the vest actually stopped it. And it is one of those things that I think people don't realize that it's how people do get very intense about owning pets, and these types of things, while not, I don't want to say aren't common, it's always a possibility. And that's why I feel that you know, anyone who's handling these animal calls should have the training and protections that they're needed to do that job, because it can go south quick. And you know, these types of things are always a possibility. I hadn't heard about that. That's crazy, especially with what just happened in DC as well. It's I think a little bit of an uptick, unfortunately.
I was going to play a sound file. I guess I should, if anybody's triggered easily, maybe tune away for a minute, but it's not graphic or violent, but it shows, this was, you've probably heard of this case. Apparently they had an area where there was a rabid, I don't remember if it was a coyote or fox, but they had to like clear the area out. And basically they were like looking for the, I can't remember if it was coyote or fox. Well, they found it the hard way.
961 Bravo.
Go ahead.
Madam. Let's see. Working through the rabbit fox is down for supervisor notifications. 3 rounds discharged and bit. Can add a few more rounds too, please.
10-4.
Yes, ma'am. I think he was bit by the coyote as well.
Okay. Car 60 Bravo, are you direct on all this?
60 Bravo, I'm direct. Can you confirm whether he was bit?
961 Bravo, can you advise?
It's a 10-4.
Okay, copy that you were bit. I'm going to start rescue to where it looks like where your car is. Is that the best place?
A couple of houses before it. I'm going to try to pop out on here. I'll get you an address here in about 5 minutes.
10-4.
APPO2, just FYI, we found the coyote. It's dead.
Sure.
961.
So Wile E. Coyote bit the dust during that one, it sounded like, but you know, I gotta say, whoever the officer was, he handled it much better on the radio than I probably would have. He just had a shooting incident and attacked by a wild animal. I was just attacked by a wild animal and I about lost my mind. Well, it wasn't a wild animal, but a dog, and I can't imagine. So yeah, you guys are dangerous.
Yeah, it's rabies is no joke. A lot of people are like, "Oh, rabies isn't that common anymore," but it's really you really got to. It's one of those things you really have to keep on top of because it is more prevalent than people think, especially with wildlife. You know, rabies vectors like coyotes and raccoons and skunks. So you always want to keep an eye out for like those types of symptoms. But I may be familiar with that particular case, and I believe that coyote had attacked several people, which is why there were officers in the area looking for it because it attacked people and took off and did eventually test positive for rabies.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, I think it was quite the ordeal at the time when it happened.
I can imagine. I mean, it's a public safety incident, and not to mention a media nightmare. And you know, add in there's if it's in a community where there's schools and kids and stuff like that. You got that. I don't know what time of year it was, but you know,
I believe it was over the weekend, so it at least helped with that part of it. But that's usually when people are going to, you know, parks and stuff with their kids. So it's definitely you know, that was a big deal in the news. I
can imagine. I can imagine. I also saw there was a fox that was running around Washington D.C. and apparently had attacked some people too. And I think
that was the one that was attacking the congressman.
Yeah, that's right. So
yeah,
and I think like the postal cops ended up finding it or something in DC. It was something real. It was somebody really peculiar as you never think of. But so yeah, everywhere. And they actually had to put out a warning here in Atlanta because so many people just put out a bowl of food for their neighbor's cats or whatever.
Yeah,
they'll bring the raccoons, which, you know, some people, oh, that's cute, funny, whatever. But apparently, and I didn't even know this, if they share the same food bowl and one has distemper, all of them can get distemper.
Mm-hmm. And rabies is transmitted through saliva, which is why you get it from bites. So if the raccoon is slobbering all over that cat food bowl on a cat that's not vaccinated or doesn't have any immunity, comes up and eats from that, they could easily contract rabies as well. It's an issue kind of also with like foxes because the type of mange that foxes get, where all their hair falls out and they get all itchy, that dogs can get that as well. So if you like leave dog food outside, you could accidentally, you know, bring your dog into contact with not only a rabies vector, but there could be an issue with mange or distemper or things like that because they transmit all of those things. I'm sorry.
It's a chupacabra.
Yeah, I have gotten chupacabra calls. I have yet to find a chupacabra.
Oh, come on. You got to be that one.
I've definitely gone on calls where it's been described as something like, oh, there's an albino copperhead, and I'm just like, whatever. And then it turned out it was like one of those fancy pet snakes that someone has. So I went and caught it because it's not supposed to be there. But people calling crazy stuff, and you'll roll your eyes and you'll be like, huh, that is an iguana, isn't it? It's supposed to be here.
What's the craziest one that you've had to bring in? I'm sure I've had all kinds of things, but
we've had the zebras run down the road before. I feel like almost every jurisdiction has had a zebra incident, weirdly enough. I don't know why it's so common. They're mean.
Yes,
I would say venomous snakes. The venomous snakes were definitely something different. Let's see. I haven't had anything too crazy other than like your routine crazy stuff, like, oh, your illegal gaboon viper, your monkey you're not supposed to have, or your squirrel that you're not. Sometimes people take in like native wildlife and keep it as pets, so you'll encounter someone who's not supposed to have a native squirrel, and it'll be the fattest squirrel you've ever seen because they've done nothing but feed it Oreos its entire life. So you'll get weird stuff like that where it's like a pet of a native animal that's like only half tame, and it's generally always a nightmare. I did actually have to charge somebody once who they found two baby squirrels, and they decided that they were going to make it like they were going to go to the train station and try and sell it to passerbys for like $20. Like, hey, do you want a pet squirrel? Here's this baby squirrel for $20. And I had to go, and that's one of the weirder charges. The livestock on the highway was the last traffic citation I did. And then there is a code section where, it's illegal to sell native wildlife. So I got to do that one as well. There is like a weird reptile at large code section that's like specifically for like alligators and boa constrictors. I haven't been able to charge somebody with that one yet. Maybe one day.
You're still young. I think you've got plenty of time. So
you never know. Things are always going nuts.
And as you know, you've probably just jinxed yourself with all of that.
Probably. Someone's gonna be walking around with a boa constrictor. Then I'll get my bucket list. We do get like people's tortoises do get out. We do have people who get like the African tortoises, and they live forever, and they'll let them in their backyards, and those things dig, which people don't realize, and they can move faster than you think. And it was one of them, the sulcata tortoise was just trucking it down the bike path one day. So that was probably the closest I came to that. But definitely you get your like regular exotic animals, but just in the weirdest situation. This wasn't mine, but there was a woman going around assaulting people. She had a fanny pack, and she was like hitting people with her fanny pack. And then when they arrested her, this happened to the officers. They unzipped the fanny pack, and there was a live pigeon in there. Like, yes, I'm not making that up. That actually happened. There was a live pigeon in the fanny pack.
Was it okay?
I think it ended up being okay.
Well, that's good news. Yeah, there's plenty of crazy. I mean, and I've ran car wrecks and stuff where there's been people's pets. Mm-hmm. That's always been a tricky one for me as a paramedic firefighter, because they don't want to be separated from them.
Yeah.
They need to go to the hospital. And luckily every time I've had a police officer step up and be like, hey, I'll take care of this. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. That would be a terrifying thing for, because a dog, a cat, whatever. Yeah, that would be, a normal household thing. And you would be, it's your pet. I found out that truck drivers have cats, dogs, aquariums, hamsters. It blows me away, but I guess that's their home. So
yeah.
But yeah, you find some interesting things. A lot of people just don't give two thoughts about it. So
yeah, it definitely, we get, the bird. It's always interesting when there's a bird. Let's just say that. People
Have you
really,
ever?
really like birds.
I'm sure.
So-
I was going to ask, have you ever had to deal with a bald eagle or an owl?
Oh yeah. So we go on sick or injured wildlife calls. So we pretty regularly will respond to those, and we'll either coordinate with a rehabilitator, or if the veterinary clinic that takes exotic animals is open, they'll take usually raptors, so like the bald eagles, and the owls and hawks. They'll take those for us, and then facilitate, if it needs treatment, then facilitate it getting to a wildlife rehabilitator. But we actually do get it. It hasn't been. I think it's been more recently, but we've gotten a little bit of an uptick with bald eagles, and they can. A lot of people don't realize that they're scavengers, so they'll eat dead things, and sometimes those dead things make them sick, or they are territorial and they'll fight each other and injure each other, and then we'll end up having to go pick them up. So we've gotten quite a few injured bald eagles that we've had to make arrangements for to go to a raptor rehabilitation center. A lot more commonly, we'll get owls at night. Usually what happens, I think, is they'll dive for something, and then they won't like get up in time because they're going for something, a mouse or something in the road, and then they'll like slam and stun themselves. So we've gotten quite a few of those. Usually it's hawks that will get that are injured, and your occasional osprey, but usually the red shoulder or the Cooper's hawk will get, because they'll either fly into windows and stun themselves or get injured in some other capacity. You have to be careful with the larger raptors and the talons, though, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bird, and they try to go pick it up. You always leave it alone until you get a professional there, because if you don't get a hold of their feet good, those talons are going into your flesh.
I can imagine. And I was going to ask, I've only seen eagles at like zoos and stuff. I've never seen one up like face to face. How big are they? I mean, flying in the air, they look huge, but
they're not like the biggest bird. Like vultures, I think, are technically bigger. We've gotten vultures too, which, by the way, their defense mechanism is to projectile vomit at you. That's always been fun. Yes,
wow.
that's a good one.
But
they're bigger when they're spread out. But they're definitely, they're lighter than you think when you pick them up. But they're definitely, like, when you pull the wingspan out, you realize like how large that they actually are, but they are lighter than you think when you're holding them. But the talons and the beak are no joke. You have to have a good grip on one of those things if you're going to hold on to one, because they can rip a good chunk out of you if they get you with the talons. So you got to hold on to their feet good, and then the beak is meant to rip flesh as well. So got to be careful with that, and they're typically not happy with us when we do that. We have had so a lot of people don't realize this. If you find a dead eagle, you're like not allowed to do anything with it other than send it to like the federal eagle repository if you want to do anything with it. And so we've picked up eagles that have, so two male eagles were fighting, and they actually flew into some power lines while they were fighting, and they both died, but they were still like attached to each other. When we found them, we've had to send them to the eagle repository. So it's definitely crazy what you find when you get with them, because they'll fight each other or fly in power lines or eat something nasty. And there's so many laws around them that you definitely no one's taking those homes as pets, because the feds are going to come get you on that one.
Oh yeah. Well, and I wouldn't have a Bigfoot show if I didn't ask. You ever seen Bigfoot? Or ever answered a question about a Bigfoot?
I have not. I think that I don't think we've actually gotten a Bigfoot call. We've gotten a chupacabra call. We've gotten a, mysterious, I don't know what this sketchy animal is called, but we've never gotten a Sasquatch call. I don't think our call takers, if they said Bigfoot, maybe if someone said Sasquatch, maybe, but I think our area is a little too populated for the typical, sorry, my dog, Bigfoot calls. It would be it. We get a lot of interesting people that hang out in our wooded areas. So if we got one, it might just be like someone hanging out in the woods in a ghillie suit or something. Like you never know what you're gonna
Frank. Yeah, just Frank. Don't worry about him. So
it's we've had our share of like, oh, we know who that guy is when we get the call.
I think every jurisdiction has those. EMS, we have them too. So it's yeah. Well, our show is about challenge coins, and I was going to ask, do you have any challenge coins? You obviously collect, or you wouldn't be here. So
Yeah, so I of course couldn't find like they're like at my. I'm bad because I don't like have them all in one spot. I'm one of those people. I need to do that. So the one I have here, I won't show the front of it because it has my department on it, but this is one that we designed a few years ago, and it kind of has like some union elements to it, but essentially, let's see if we can get it. It's like a honey badger, and it's specific. Sorry, things reversed. It was like kind of specific to our unit. Now they made a rule that says you have to get department approval for challenge coins. So we got this one in before that, but it's probably no longer approved for our unit. And then we actually have and I got to pull it up. I have to pull up the picture of it to make sure that it doesn't have the logo on it, but we actually have like a wildlife section with a wildlife biologist that handles like a lot of a managed hunting operation type of thing, where they also have their own challenge coin, and that one's actually pretty cool, because that one, let me see if I can zoom in on the picture. So this one's actually
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, this one it's basically a buck for their. I'm sorry, I'm like doing a terrible job at this. For their coin, and I always thought that one was pretty cool. I have one of those back in my office because I scatter these things everywhere. And I've actually I always feel bad because I'm one of those people that I have the coins and then I never have them with me when someone else wants to give me one. And I've had people like I run into like the attorney general randomly, we went to an event and the attorney general was there and gave me a coin. I was like, I don't have one for you. I'm sorry. I got one from the attorney general of our state and I didn't have one to give him back. So I felt bad about that, but we're actually, one of the things I wanted to discuss is we're trying to design a newer challenge coin that would be departmental approved, and to kind of get into the symbolism of it, because I know you guys like to discuss that, is it's going to be specific to animal protection. And one of the things that we wanted to have it is the outside of the coin, we wanted it to be a chain, but one of the links is broken. And the reason we wanted to do that is because there is, and I've taught classes on it, and there's, this is not disputed. There is a known psychological connection between animal cruelty and domestic violence, interpersonal violence, child abuse, and elder abuse. And there's like an education component to it. And they call it the link between all of these things. And, the reason we wanted the chain with the link is like, it's kind of symbolism where you're breaking a chain off of a dog that's being abused. But also you're breaking the link. So by investigating these animal cruelty complaints, you could be interfering in a future interpersonal violence situation by addressing this and taking it to court before it morphs into something worse in the future. So it's kind of symbolism of breaking the link. And then because our unit is kind of unique in our area, we wanted the inside to be a blue unicorn. So, because we're unique with the circle of the chain that's broken, and I think they're hesitant to approve it because of the broken chain. But we're trying to work.
The unicorn, I thought would be the ball breaker.
Apparently, the unicorn is fine. It's the broken chain that people are worried is going to be misinterpreted. But I think like it's easy to explain. Like you're breaking the link between the violences and breaking a dog off its chain. I thought it was pretty obvious, but that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Well, now you also teach, right?
Yeah. So I am an instructor. So I've taught at our police academy, and one of the things that I did was I actually did get a chance to go to Europe, and I did go to one of their police academies out there, and I actually helped teach a class on how to conduct animal cruelty investigations, because this country in Europe had passed a lot of really good animal welfare laws, but the police out there didn't know how to like investigate them. And we did go with a child abuse detective and prosecutor, and we had an animal cruelty prosecutor as well. And she was the one that organized this whole thing, because we did discuss the link between child abuse and animal cruelty, and how police officers could use their current skills, because they are all transferable. Anything you learn in a police academy can easily be transferred to your job in animal care and control, no matter what it is. But how to transfer these skills into investigating animal cruelty crimes, and why the link, why it's important, because it could link to future things, and it's beneficial to society to address these issues. So I did get an opportunity to go to Europe and teach several of their police officers, a national police academy out there for 2 weeks, to teach them how to conduct animal cruelty investigations. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. It was pretty cool.
Bet. Do they don't carry weapons in some of those European countries, do they?
In this one they did. Okay. This particular European country has a little bit of a financial issue. I know that like it was, some of the things were a struggle for them to afford. Like from my understanding, when I went out there, we were talking about broke jurisdictions. Some of them had to do most of their firearms trainings with blanks, but they do carry guns in that particular country that I went to.
Corey, he's been, you haven't went to it yet, where you go to the master tasement or whatever it's called, Corey. I'm a fireman. Y'all have to overlook me.
I actually leave Sunday for a week down to Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas.
To get tased?
Master taser instructor school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do they tase you every day? I've heard horror stories about the taser instructor schools where they like make sure to like tase you every day, or like something crazy.
Well, back when Axon Taser first started, yes, you had to be tased to be an instructor. But the master school, no, that's all voluntary. So I've already taken 5 rides and a drive stun. I do not need any more.
Once you know what it feels like, you know what it feels like. I got tasered in the academy, and we're like, okay, that sucked. Good to know.
Yeah. It's not fun after the first one. It's just more of a, I don't know what I'm thinking. I took 2, 3, 4. I'm just like, no. But you have coworkers that challenge you. You just can't back down, right?
Yeah, no, you get dared. It's supposed to be voluntary for us too, and then everyone dares each other to do it, and then you all end up doing it. So
yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah,
and that's why you have jobs for firemen and paramedics.
Yeah.
The closest I've come.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the closest I've ever come is I've had to stand by while they're doing it at the academy.
And that's you gotta be careful. If you touch the wires, you can get shocked. Yeah. I did always want to know. I think this is it. I do think I know the answer to this. So, like, let's say you're in some crazy scenario where you shoot a taser, and one dart goes into a person, and one dart goes into their dog that's like trying to attack you, and then the dog bites the person. Does that then complete the circuit and they both get tased, or does it just not? So if the that's, I always wondered
you are correct. You are correct. If you fire the taser, one probe goes into the bad guy, one probe goes into the dog. If the dog bites the bad guy, that completes the circuit.
Okay. because we have had incidents before where, like, you know, you only get one dart in and the dart goes someplace else. So I always wondered if, like,
that does not complete the circuit.
Yeah, I just, you know, I was like, oh, if the dart went into the dog and the dog, it just was a really dumb thought that I had, but I was curious as to the answer. I figured that it would, knowing how it's supposed to work, but
have you ever used a taser on an animal?
I have not, because we only recently got tasers. We were asking for them for years, because honestly, if you're going on a dog attack, that's kind of the better tool, because you know, there's been a number of cases where people have accidentally shot the person being attacked by the dog when trying to save them from the dog attack. And like the taser kind of does what it needs to do, where it gets the dog off the person. I've worked with enough animals where I'm more comfortable probably getting more in there than some other people. But I've yet to have to actually taser an animal. I've used my baton as like kind of a blocker before in the metal clipboard. I have a tactical clipboard. That's what I call it. And it's all dinged up from getting chewed on by dogs. But the taser is actually a recent development, but it is probably one of the better tools if you have a situation where a dog is like actively attached to somebody, because that's going to be the safest scenario for that. Just hasn't quite happened yet, but you know,
you gotta be a good shot when you shoot a dog or a smaller animal. You gotta get both probes in there, because if you only get one probe, it doesn't work, and it'll just piss that animal off even more.
Yes. Sometimes the noise scares them and they're just like, oh my God, what was that? I have had a dog. I wasn't the one that tasered it. Someone else shut off the taser, and the dog did only get hit by one probe, but it was just like, I want no part of this anymore. And it ran away. And they don't really do the confetti anymore, but the confetti used to freak them out, ironically enough.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the confetti. The
tasers used to have, like, when you would shoot them, like, confetti would fly out.
Yeah, they're called aphids. They're actually a little identification mark that goes with that cartridge. You collect it as evidence. About 20 different little round colored pieces of confetti are called aphids, but
yeah, I guess it's not called confetti. That's probably
every piece of paper. If you put it up to a microscope, every piece of paper has the serial number of that cartridge. So when you deploy a cartridge, you just collect a couple aphids and put them with your evidence. So
okay. Yeah, I just call it confetti. I'm gonna get made fun of for
what tasers do you guys use?
So hypothetically, my division got the leftover X2s, and then everyone else has the 7s, and then they're looking at the
Taser 10.
I think so, but I can't say for sure. But that's, you know, that's kind of what generally has. I think it's a very good tool. And you know, it's something that I think is very beneficial to the animal control world. There's not a lot of training when it comes to using it in that aspect.
Right.
I would say.
Yeah.
That's one thing, and I know I've kept you here longer than you wanted to, and I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
That's one thing I went through firefighter academy 3 times. I liked it so much. EMS, paramedic. I've been through all these tactical courses. My entire career, I was never taught about an animal attack. I was taught about bad guys coming up from behind you, jumping at you. I've been held hostage. I've been shot at. I've been stabbed. But what took me out was a damn dog. And all through my training and all through my career, I shouldn't say damn dog. It wasn't her fault. She was protecting around her. But all through my career, I'd had like 2 other animal encounters. One of them, the clipboard, works great. And we used to carry these big, long, way before your time, I'm sure, the mag lights that were like 8 D cells or something. I mean, they were huge monsters.
I've had to do a block with a flashlight before when something snuck up on me. I was like, it bit the flashlight.
I laid a German Shepherd out in rural area in East Tennessee, but yeah, I didn't kill it, but I rang its bell, so, and then ironically enough, the one animal call I did run, we went on actually it was a structure fire. It turned into 2 structure fires. It was a shed between 2 buildings. And so they dispatched to do 2 different addresses, 2 different full alarm fires. And it was a shed that caught both houses on fire. So we got there. I was on the hazmat unit that night or day. And we got there and we're waiting for an assignment. And I'm sure you've seen, we're very organized, just like you. We're not just going to go running in. Everybody's got a job. We're going to wait for the commander to tell us what to do. And then we go do it and tell them we're done. And Cap had asked like 3 times on the radio in a Hazmat 19, do you have an assignment for us? Hazmat 19, do you have an assignment? And they were just like ignoring us. And there's how many? We were 6 deep, I think, on the Hazmat that day. And I see his fireman drop a cat out of the window.
Yeah.
And I kind of see the cat twitching a little bit. And I'm like, hey, Cap, I think we can save that cat. And he's like, hold on. And he tries again. And he's like, F it, let's go. Go over there, pick up the cat, and all of us now, we're working at a team. I had just taken the animal CPR class. And that's why I was like eager to do it. And I was doing the little baby mask, put a little tube in, got it back, everything, got it. But it was, out of all the career saves I've had out of people in my life, that one was the most rewarding because I saw the cat's eyes go from fully dilated back down to constricted. Of course, wanted to kick my ass at that point in time because I had a tube throat, which
That's
I pulled out. So we gave it to a police officer who, with the homeowner, took my oxygen tank and mask, which I got in trouble for, written up for, and rushed it to an emergency clinic. The cat lived. So
I've known of our fire and rescue guys who have driven in their ambulance animals to the animal hospital.
And I'd do it tomorrow if I had to. Yeah.
It's always you end up with a good Instagram story when you do that, but I do appreciate when they do that because it's just
I got written up.
Well, I actually won't tell this story because I know of something some fire guys did that got them in a lot of trouble, but it saved someone's life when it involved a Rottweiler and maybe some ketamine. And it worked.
Drop the vial. Hey.
But it did save the person's life. They were being attacked by their own dog, and you can't put a price on that, I would say. No. The signing physician wasn't pleased, but it is what it is.
How did you know the exact dosage? Pediatric milligrams per kilogram. Come on, doc. As a paramedic, you have to be creative.
We carry drugs for that. We actually do carry ketamine, and we don't usually use ketamine on dogs. We use Tilazol, which is a different thing, but we do actually, we have a whole slew of things that it actually weirdly takes longer to do than, just going up and grabbing it and hoping you don't get bit. It's kind of a lot of I'm more trained than I let on, but I don't always just wing it. But
do they still use tranquilizer guns or darts or whatever they call them?
So the darts are trickier than people think. We do have them available when we need them, but it's not something that you want to use if you need something done quick, because it doesn't take effect quick, which is actually why a lot of people don't realize why they couldn't dart that gorilla at the Cincinnati Zoo. Is it takes too long to get in there. And then the darts are tricky because they're like pressurized. So you have to fill them up, and then you have a CO2 canister, and you have to get the pressure just right, because if it's too high, the dart will shoot in and then bounce out and come back at you, which is not fun. And then if it's too low, then it just goes. So you have to time it right. Sometimes we can just draw it up, and if the animal's in where we can pin it, we can try that. But we've carried that, and we've generally used it for animals that are pinned somewhere, trapped somewhere. But your routine loose aggressive dog, a a dart is probably not going to be the best case scenario, especially if it's like actively going after people. Talking about pissing something off. Shooting with a dart, especially if the dart doesn't go in, it's it can be a little problematic.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've kept you here longer than you intended to be, and I appreciate it. Corey, you got any questions? I've talked all the time here.
No.
You got real wild animals out where you're at, so you got the real mountain lions. Yeah, Corey's the one that taught me that I carried a little air gun that made noise for bears. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corey was the one that taught me that they were just kidding me that I wasn't going to do nothing for a bear.
No.
Sometimes loud noises do freak them out. It depends on the bear. If it's a grizzly bear, if it's a black bear, we actually have gone out and I banged 2 metal dog bulls together and gotten a runoff. Like it's funny because people call about them in their yard or something, and I'll just like run out and bang on a trash can and then they run away. But that's for that particular type of bear generally.
Yeah.
I was trying to find. I had a sound effect somewhere, and I don't see it right off the top. That was. I was like, "This is what they told me to do." Oh darn it! I wish I could find it, Corey. You'd be a bug. Oh wait, there it is. It was. That was pretty much all it was. So,
it's maybe better than nothing. Watch that save your life one day, and then you got something there, I would say.
Yeah. Well, didn't you also tell me to run downhill? That they got short.
Run
legs?
Downhill.
Yeah, that's right.
They got legs are shorter on the front, so they'll go ass over tea kettle. Run downhill.
Yeah.
I'm old and I'm fat. I would probably fall and you would bite me on the way down.
Just go hiking with someone slower than you and you're good.
Right.
And that's how I tell everybody about my dog bite story, because the dog broke out from the back of the house and came around the cars and stuff, and they got the old slow fat one because my sergeant took off to get into the fight in the melee, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? I've done this before. I don't want to fight. My driver was taking his time putting the wheel chalk down, making sure everything was just right. So it didn't see me. Nope, I was the only one that got it. So.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, Andy, I've not let you say a word tonight. How are you tonight? And got any questions for?
I'm doing pretty good. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, all right. Corey, you got any wild stories you want to share with her about how you wrestled a grizzly bear or anything?
No, I don't wrestle grizzly bears. I shoot them. But speaking of snakes, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but rattlesnakes are actually an endangered species in Alberta, Canada. You cannot kill a rattler.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, most of the time they're just minding. My thing, I actually really like snakes. And we only have, where I'm at, we really only have one type of venomous snake that's like medium venomous. And they're pretty distinct looking, even though people still like confuse them with other snakes. But we get a lot of the rat snakes, the eastern rat snakes, and it freaks people. I go pick them up with my bare hands just to show people like, hey, these are not dangerous. Snakes serve a really good ecological purpose. They're like nature's perfect rodent control, really. And most of the time snakes are just minding their own business. So I'll go out and they'll be in like someone's house and I'll just go pick them up and I'll be like, see, it's not that bad. And it's always funny when it's like, a group, like a house full of guys, and they call and, I just like, hey, this is fine. I pick it up with my bare hands, make a point of it. Sometimes I'll let it bite me just to prove like, hey, everything's fine. I'll let them go outside. But even the venomous ones, we sometimes like, we'll go and get them off the glue trap if they're stuck on a glue trap and then let them go back out where they need to go. They are minding their own business if they're like out in the woods, but some of them are, a lot of people don't realize that they're protected and they are like, oh my God, kill it. Leave the snake alone. It's minding its own business.
Right.
Turn your AC down. They're cold-blooded. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask her if there were water moccasins, because mom's house. She doesn't live near water, but when they serviced,
Endangered.
You cut out there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say, you were talking about their AC unit. Were you talking about the temperature in the house, or were you talking?
Yeah, like sometimes, like that was kind of a joke. But
Okay.
they're cold blooded, so sometimes they'll. So the joke was like, if you turn the AC down, they won't come in your house because they're looking for warmth. But what I will say is, what I encounter a lot is people, they'll get a snake in their house, and I'm explaining to people how they're good for rodent control to have outside, because I'll just let them go outside. And people are like, I don't have a mouse problem, and I'm standing there holding, a rat snake that only exists to eat rats. So I think you do. So I'm gonna let it go outside and maybe call somebody about your mouse problem, and then you won't have snakes anymore.
My mom was having her AC unit fixed, and she lives in Knoxville, East Tennessee. And I guess at the height of summer, when it's the coldest, timber rattlers are in East Tennessee, go towards those.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they'll get up in there because it's wet, it's dark, and it's cooler than being on the outside. Or maybe I got it backwards. Maybe they get there in the winter and they go there. I don't know. But anyhow, she had a fairly large one. The guy was like, I'm not coming back and servicing your unit again.
I've had to save quite a few AC repair guys from a snake and a either AC unit or they like the circuitry area too sometimes, periodically.
Yeah, I can't remember if she had it done in the winter and it was because it was warm, or she had it done in the summer and it was because it was cool. But I remember the story, and she was like, the guy was like, he's not coming back. Well, I guess we appreciate your service, and if you have any coins you want to get rid of, I know some guys here that might take one or trade you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna track down some of the extra of the two that I have of the. I figured you guys would like the wildlife one. This I gotta.
Oh, that's nice.
For my drawer.
There, Corey made.
Oh, that is pretty cool with the wolves.
Let me make it. Yeah, Corey, you need to tell her about that too.
So that is the saying on top is, you are the wolf that you feed.
Mm.
And obviously the blue eyes and red eye, that's our coin. That's one of the ones that I designed. It's our Great Falls region.
Oh, very cool.
So I got that one. And then this one here is Shape of Montana, obviously. This is our for our fundraising coin. So the skull and the 406 glow in the dark, and you got the barbed wire that represents Montana. Obviously, we got a lot of farmland up here. And then the three guys reaching for the fourth guy, that's obviously one of the symbols of benevolency, but it's also one mission, one team, one goal as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so design that coin too. So yeah, that's our coins.
That's very neat.
Yeah, you're involved with the Police Benevolent Association up in your area too, right, Corey?
I started a benevolent fund for our region. Yeah, and just helping out officers that are medically ill or anything like that. We got an officer that's got stage 4 right now, so all the money raised from these coins goes towards an account and helps them out with flights down to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, stuff like that. So yeah.
Can you buy them online?
I belong to 26 different Facebook pages of challenge coins. Find it on there. I can send one.
I can connect y'all through email. So
Okay.
Probably less complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, Sarge, I'll give him your email address and
that sounds good.
Chat. So okay.
And I'll if you want to send me an address, I can send a couple coins up your way too.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we just made our coin, and it is in. I'm just going to show the drawing of it if I can pull it up here. We just got one for the show that we're working on.
Oh, I like that.
And yeah, the Grin Guardian Gang, and in the back is basically the same thing. It's just the owl. with the same logo, but kind of like a Batman logo. So we're going to be working on getting those out to our guests, and I don't know, we may sell them. I don't know what we're going to do with them, but we just got them in. Well, we started off, it was kind of fun. I wish, well, hopefully Matt will watch this, and Matt is our creative guy that comes up with how to make everything in a challenge coin. He's making one right now that's the Spider-Man Deadpool, and it comes apart. And it actually has Wolverine's, not Deadpool, Spider-Man Wolverine. It actually has Wolverine's, what do you call it? I guess talons or whatever inside the coin.
Yeah.
So when you pull it out,
cool.
yeah, he's like the whiz at all that stuff. So I might tell him, give him your info, and you and him can figure out how to make one, because we just made a really cool one. Oh, I'll show you that before you go. She's an MMA fighter. She's flyweight division. She's ranked 14th in the United States. Miranda Maverick. She's actually, I'll call her a friend because I communicate with her enough. And she asked us to make a coin for her. And so Matt helped us come up with the design. She said what she wanted, and I was like, okay. And then me and him sat down with it. And let's see, here it is. We got back the artwork for it. Oop, I gotta share this though. Y'all can't see it that way. Share screen.
You got to fill her in though too. She actually, she's a businesswoman. She actually sells pickles.
She sells
all
pickles?
different, yes, all different kinds of pickles, and she ships them out to all across the country. So,
okay, yeah, I did need the backstory for this before you showed that.
It'd be helpful.
yeah, I guess as Miranda is, well, she's the fighter, obviously, with UFC. She's also a psychiatrist. She just got her master's degree, works for the Hershey's Corporation as a psychiatrist. I don't understand that. But on the side, she's got a little side gig where she makes and sells pickles. And so she wanted something to represent the UFC, and her logo was a lion. She wanted a lion shredding a pickle. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with artists, but trying to explain what you want is sometimes very interesting.
So, well, in her business, if you just Google Prowler Pickles, she's all over the website. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. That's pretty cool.
And that's the back of the coin. That's what she uses for the UFC. So my challenge to her was she wanted the coin. She's obviously going to use them for her business, and she's going to be one of our supporters. But she wanted, I said, what you have to do is after you want to fight, I want you to give Joe Rogan in front of ESPN one of our coins. And she's like,
there you go.
So,
I like it.
So yeah, and she's a wonderful human being. She was a really nice person. You wouldn't think somebody that punches you would be a nice person, but she's a great person. So
well, that's how you are nice. Like you get it out of the way by all the not niceness.
Well, she gave me some advice. She said, I think everybody needs to be punched in the face at least once. And I think everybody needs to punch somebody in the face. It gets it out of the way. So if you ever have to, you know what to expect. I was like, it kind of makes sense, but
we probably resolve a lot of they should just add that into mediation, when people have to go to those alternative dispute resolution centers. That should be a mediation option. Just punch each other.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
I think it would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. An issue on what is it? Those bats with pillows on it. There's a name for them. I don't know what they're called, but yeah.
Like America's Gladiator or whatever that show
Yes,
was.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sarge, I appreciate it. You were great. I had a great time. And I actually learned a lot. And that's one of the things I love about having the guests on here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is definitely this is a very fun show. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And if you want to come back sometime and teach on talk about some of the other things you do, because I know you do other stuff outside of that as far as protection and stuff like that. We would love to have you. I know the retired major, he's wanting to come back and do some stuff about DNA. So
okay.
I know you know who I'm talking about. So yeah. He's really cool. So he's a very intelligent man. So yeah. And if spread the word in your department, if there's anybody that wants to come on here,
all right, I'll let them know.
I will more than gladly. You work for Bucks County Sheriff's Department in Illinois. I don't, wherever.
Yeah.
There's probably a Bucks County, Illinois, but
It probably is.
so, but it doesn't matter to us where you're from. We just like to have you on here and hear some of your stories and learn something.
Absolutely.
So that's the cool thing. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here, and I'm going to argue with these two for a while. And
okay, you guys have a good night.
I will talk at you soon. Thanks, Sarge.
Nice meeting you.
It was a great show. I'll move you down here and you up there, Andy, so it looks more balanced. There we go.
There we go.
That was a great show. I didn't know a lot of that about animal control and animal calls and resolution.
It took me off guard that she was sworn as well, and she's I guess I've been oblivious to that because nowhere in the state of Montana is our animal control sworn officers either. So it's interesting. I don't know. Well, are a lot of states like that, or do you know of?
I think there's only a handful. I think one of my friends in Kentucky told me he was, and I want to say her state maybe, but I don't know if there are. But to me, it makes sense because it's like paramedic. You walk in. I've walked in on things where I needed a police officer really quick, so I could imagine with an animal control. Yeah. I remember there was an episode recently on what is that TV show that's on weekends? Live PD.
Yeah.
A call, and they had one of their animal control officers responding with them, and the other people kept everybody corralled away from this huge alligator. And they didn't know that this guy, or was it a gal? I think it was a guy, showed up, basically drug it out from underneath the pickup truck it was on, got into a fight with it, and shot it in the head on live TV. And he's like, all right, done here, throws it in the back of the truck and drives off. And they're like, wait, what? And he's like, hey, over a certain length in Florida, if they fight with you and you don't have enough backup, of course it was, late at night. He's like, shoot it and next. And there was a lot of uproar about that. But what do you do? It seems like it was a female officer now, because they were like all these male officers here. One of them could have shot it, and she's like, next, can you help me throw it in the back of the truck?
Plus, if you shoot one, they only have a little spot where you can actually shoot to kill them in the head.
I guess that's true, because they got.
It's about the size of a nickel.
Yeah. There was a video circulating about a raccoon that's an officer shot and it attacked her here recently on Facebook. I saw. Maybe I'm just saying it because I got a guest that was on here, but yeah, she emptied like the 9mm into it to get away from it.
Jesus. Huh.
So Corey, what else? What do you got going on? We haven't seen you in a while. Last week you were out, and
I've just been busy. Been all over the place. Every weekend seemed like been traveling different parts of the state, stuff like that. So, and again, it's no different this week. I fly out Sunday morning, so I'll miss the show next Friday too. I'll be still in Fort Worth. So
okay.
I don't. What's that?
You could call into the show and give us an update on how many times you've been tased.
I'm not getting tased. I'm done. Getting too old. Getting too old for that stuff. My bones are weakening. Yeah. No, I'm done taking rides. Yeah. But no, it'll be interesting. We're going to learn about the dynamics of the Taser 10. So there's 10 different shots, and it's actually considered a weapon because each shot uses gunpowder.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so it's a lot more. It's a lot more quicker. What's that?
That's gonna hurt.
It's not attached like the wires one, is it?
Correct. No, it's not.
I'll have to
But Yeah, I have to check it out. We're going to be training on those quite a bit over the next week, and I'm kind of excited. We're going to be using the virtual reality, the goggles that you put on. We're going to be using our tasers on certain different scenarios and stuff like that. That are going to be going throughout the whole day. Every day is going to be using a lot of the virtual reality stuff. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It's a class of 120 people. So we're all split up into squads. And our squad leaders actually are just through email. Our squad leaders actually is a senior master instructor. She's out of Mesa, Arizona. But she's been a master instructor since 2012. So I think she knows what she's talking about. So it'll be kind of interesting, kind of exciting. There's 3 different parts that you have to pass in order to be a master, and that's there's a final exam, and then there's a practical exams with the taser, as well as a presentation that you gotta do in front of 120 people. And I just got given my topic here a couple days ago, so I've been practicing on my topic and got to prepare to give this presentation in front of everyone. And then obviously you got to carry on the conversation, because I guess some of the instructors, they're going to be asking questions like students. So then you got to learn how to answer your questions and answer to the best of your ability on this presentation. So I'm kind of a little bit nervous about that, but I don't know. I never talked in front of 120 people before. I've been an instructor since 2006, but never in front of 120 people. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be okay. Just gotta reiterate.
You just didn't know it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we've had a couple hundred viewers on some of our shows, so you have.
Well, I'm only seeing 2 or 3 or 4 other faces. That there's a difference there.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I had to get and give a lecture, I was like, So yeah, I get you. Wow.
So well, I mean, it'll be okay. It'll be interesting. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, bring up our podcast if you run out of things to talk about. Go, hey, I know this great show every Friday night, 9:00 on the East Coast. So.
Well, I will be. And I'll be definitely taking some challenge coins with me, because, man, I don't know what it is, but Texas, they got some pretty cool ass challenge coins that they make up. And this is going to be a classroom full of law enforcement. So I'm going to be bringing a handful of challenge coins down there. So I'm hoping to bring some back.
Sweet. Now, you said for the senior instructor for you is for Arizona. I guess the country. Yeah. This is like an area of the Southwest, or is it the whole country, or that's going to be in the class? Oh,
it's people all over the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. They only hold, well, this year they got 3 master taser instructor courses, 3 or 4. I know there's one in New York coming up next month or the month after. I know there's one in Vegas, like October. I think there's one down in Vegas. And then I think there's one more. I'm not sure exactly where that's at. Chicago, maybe. I'm not sure. But usually there's 3 or 4. Usually there's 3. This year they, before my, actually about 2 months ago, they actually opened up a 4th one, and that one's in New York. And they were encouraging people from my class to jump over to the New York one because our class was completely full. So I don't know if anyone jumped ship over to the New York training or not, but yeah.
Well, you don't want to go there. There's earthquakes there, so.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like 4.7, something like that.
Yeah, 4.8, they said.
4.8. I actually, I'm friends with the guy that runs the Police Challenge Coins Facebook page. He friended me on Facebook, so I've been following him. He's from New York, and he's a cop in New York, and he actually posted a picture tonight of 2 hard seltzers, those foo-foo alcohol drinks. I don't know what the heck they're called. The White Claws. He posted 2 cans of White Claws. He says, "This is for me to overcome my earthquake." So it's just like nice.
Wonder how long it'll be. I survived the earthquake coin out.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in the works. I'm definitely sure it's in the works.
I believe they are making one for the FSK bridge that collapsed in Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
Guarantee you there's one coming out on that one. Guarantee it.
I mean, ambulance ramming. That's if you have to follow the story, but yeah.
And I guarantee you there's going to be a logo or a slogan on there: "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday," something like that.
Yeah. The police officer in Escambia County that went nuts over the acorn.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Right.
That's one of my favorite coins now. It sits here on my desk.
That's funny. Yeah, there'll be several coins coming out. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
New York, they come up with a coin with everything, anything and everything, man. There's a coin for everything.
A couple times a day they come out with new ones.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's no way you could possibly collect every New York coin out there. There's no way.
No, I think you'll be old and dead by the time you even come close to collecting all of them, but you'll still never get all of them.
Mm.
No. And like I said, there's so many that come out all the time. So
yeah.
I ordered what I didn't order it. It was from a department up north. It had an owl on the back of it. And what is it? OWL stands for something with a license, illegal. I can't remember, but that was their unit patch. Operating without a license, maybe. I don't know. They're one of the highway units. So, just it does all the traffic stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Operating without a license, and it's an owl with like a helicopter rotor on the top of it. Look kind of cool. I'd never seen it from that particular department. I was like, sold.
Right. Yeah.
There's a few I like to try and get anything new this week. Actually, I did. I meant to show you. Go ahead. Did you get anything new?
I did not. I didn't get anything new this week. It's been quiet the last couple of weeks in my mailbox. I don't know.
Andy, anything new?
Nope, nothing.
Wow, am I the only one? I'm trying to think if I got something else, but I guess this is the only real one I got. And I had forgotten to order this back during football season, but it's a Baltimore Police Department for the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens.
Nice.
I actually seen that on Facebook a couple days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I had forgotten I ordered it. So yeah, and of course you saw I got the UFO one, I guess a couple weeks ago, but I got this one. It showed up in the mail. I was like, I don't remember ordering any coins. And I ordered that at the beginning of football season last year. So
yeah.
And I'm excited. Let's see, I'll pull up a picture of it. My coin is also going to be out. I'm not putting them up for pre-sale just yet. So everybody just calm your jets if anybody sees this and wants one. And the reason I'm not putting them up for pre-sale yet is, one, I haven't got them. This company is slower than dog dirt. And the other reason is I have no idea how much they weigh. So I don't want to screw up and get yelled at by the missus. That would be trouble.
Because it's costing you shipping.
Yeah. And because I've heard you were the one that got me the idea with the barbed wire.
Oh, yeah.
And the salesperson for this company says that this is the hardest thing to make is barbed wire.
Really?
I don't understand. And she said it was incredibly fragile the first time they made it. They had to change the mold. Of course, she sent me a bill say you pay more now. So we're still arguing that. But it's a Texas star surrounded in barbed wire, obviously, for reasons that everybody can figure out. And remember the Alamo, the Bowie knife, that was one of the things that saved them. So it's got that on there with the come and take it logo that Texas always has. So But she said this was an incredibly delicate. She said because there's multiple metals in here, multiple paints, and you got to paint in these little crevices. And she said made a smart ass remark about she already knew I was picky and was going to look at each coin. I was like, for what I'm paying, yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta say I'm happy. They did kind of make the paint job a little bit different, but I guess it's just they couldn't do it any other way. So, but I'm excited. It looks good. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
my hand, I just put it in my hand. I ordered it over a month ago. So, but yeah, that's the only new one I got. Oh, and I am designing another one for a fire department. It's more of a redesign. The chief got promoted and got a bugle and wants the extra bugle on his coin now. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're putting 3 bugles on it instead of 2, and we're kind of centering it up, making a little bit larger on some other things that we didn't catch in the first design. So I'm working on that. But yeah, other than that, got some patches. Did I show you my patch?
I don't think so.
I'll show that. I got them, and I thought that was going to be a big seller, and so far nobody has hit me up yet. So, but it's okay. It's only been 24, 48 hours, so it's not that big a deal. Where is it? Somewhere right here. Yeah, that's it. And I might make another patch. I don't know if I'm going to or not now that this one hasn't been selling as much as I wanted it to. The missus might really have a come apart. So, yeah. Cool. It's the USA surrounded by barbed wire. Don't tread on me. And then it's on multi-cam for the desert patches. So,
yeah.
So I got that one. That's the only new thing. So we got to get Andy to design something and make something here soon.
Right.
Now, I know you've been talking to Matt, so.
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have.
Have you got a design yet? Or,
no, not yet. Still in the works.
Okay. Well, just let me know. I'll buy one from you. So you'll have 2 cells. So me and panel. So.
Yeah. I still got to talk to him about that challenge coin for his one officer that died a couple months ago.
Yeah, he was going to make a memory coin. I want to do that. And I still haven't heard anything back from Isaac about the challenge coin from Loudoun County for the police officer they were raising funds for. Was it a police officer or a firefighter?
Firefighter, Loudoun County.
Yeah, I still haven't. I sent him info and asked him if y'all hear anything, let me know. I'd like to get one of those to.
Yeah, me too.
To the family. So.
But yeah, when our guest was talking about the 3 DC police officers that were shot, and the one that was hit in the bulletproof vest, they said if he wouldn't have had the vest on, it would have went through and through directly into his heart.
Oh.
They said that person shot him direct 100 pinpoint perfect.
Wow. What caliber?
I don't remember.
Wow.
I don't remember if they said or not, but they said he was damn lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine he probably thought he was dying because I've heard that.
Yeah, he did.
You take a punch. You're black and blue.
Said he left a baseball-sized bruise on his chest.
Absolutely. I've seen pictures. It's not like what you see on TV. When you get hit with a bullet in a vest, the impact, yeah, it's softball size. And it's a deep,
it's like getting hit with a sledgehammer at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. You feel it. It hurts.
That's why I can't figure out the cop down in Florida, how he thought he was hit and emptied 2 clips into his own cruiser and still didn't hit the perp.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, in that case. So.
Yeah. Jesus, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I wasn't there. Don't know what happened. I've only seen the body camera, but I don't know. I think after the first clip, I'd have stopped. So.
Speaking of shooting bullets in the vehicles, we were out at training last fall, and we actually we got in contact with one of the auto wreckers here, and they actually hauled out 2 vehicles to the firearms range, and we practiced shooting out of vehicles and stuff like that. And one of the examples, we train with the marshals on the auto occasion as well, and the marshals were out there, and we're always talking about using your vehicle as cover, right? And what post or where to stand behind for cover. Well, where is the best spot to stand behind in a with a vehicle for cover? Where is your best spot? Usually the motor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or behind.
Never stand in the back towards the gas tank. You're screwed.
So another spot, and this is all learning for me too. I had no idea. But your A post. So your A post on a vehicle is referred to as the driver's side door frame, where the windshield ends, where your driver's side window starts. That post, that angle post, that we call that A post.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, we shot that A post with a 9mm with our Glock. It bounced off that A post. It barely even dented that A post.
Oh.
Then we take a 12 gauge shotgun and we shoot that A post from 2 feet away. It dented it, and it knocked the molding off inside the car. That's it.
Damn.
2 feet away. Okay. Then we take one of our ARs, a 223.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over to the B post. So B post is between the front door, the driver's side door, and the driver's side passenger door.
Mm-hmm.
Took 24 rounds to shoot a 223 from 6 feet away to penetrate that post and to penetrate the post right through the car door to hit it on the target on the other side of the car.
Wow.
Jeez.
24 rounds. Okay. Wow. And that is 24 rounds right on target. There was no outside rounds. It was literally 24 rounds to penetrate B and to penetrate the B, C, D, E post to hit the target on the other side of the car.
Holy crap.
Now, to put this into perspective, A post, safety standards, that is supposed to hold your car upside down with the motor on top of you. That A post is supposed to be that strong, not to crush that post because of the safety.
Mm-hmm.
So that put into perspective how strong that post is. When you flip a car, that post doesn't crush.
No, it doesn't.
So crazy when you put that in perspective when you're shooting at that post with a gun. My eyes got wide open. I'm like, holy crap! Now you want to talk about conceal and cover? You want to stand behind a post,
Mm-hmm.
and if you position yourself properly behind a post, you can get about 6 inches cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even more. It depends on the angle, right? But yeah, true facts. Seen it with my own eyes. I even took pictures. I'm like, this is absolutely crazy. I never knew that.
Well, new Cadillacs, right before I came out of the department, we had to pop a window to get a baby out, locked in a Walmart parking lot on a 104-degree day. And usually, you can simple trick of the spark plug or the window punch. We punch this thing, didn't do a thing. It made a dent. I mean, like a little tiny BB hole. I'm like, what the Sam? Like, all right, next step up. Got a bigger one. Finally made big enough smack in it to where all the glass crumbled. There's plastic that caught it like a glue trap between the other side, which hadn't broke yet. That's the new safety standards. We didn't know that. Nobody had trained us on that. We were just about to get. I got my trusty Halligan tool out, and after a couple good swings, I got through there. And I don't know if you know what a Halligan tool is, but it's basically it's got a punch on one side of it.
Yeah.
And once I got a punch big enough where we get a hand through, we got to the lock. But that is crazy. We were about ready to get the jaws out and just cut the damn door.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. These new vehicles, it's unbelievable the safety standards that are built into the new vehicles. The old vehicles, yeah, no one talked about safety in the 60s or 70s or early 80s. None of that, right? But these new vehicles, it's unbelievable the impact that are built right into them.
And I took a class from a very large rescue squad group that teaches across country, and I never knew it, but NASCAR is the reason we can thank for a lot of that. Every wreck in NASCAR, they bring that car in and scientists go over it and they share that data with whoever, Ford, Chevy, GM, Toyota, and so we have NASCAR to thank for that. So that's kind of crazy. So, but it's where else you're going to get a wrecked car every week, I guess, at 180 miles an hour. So.
Yeah. It was fun, that training. We actually shooting through the front windshield of the car and all the glass dust and the particles that come back on you. And then you learn your first round is not on target. You shoot through the first round goes down. And yeah, we had to shoot through the windshield and hit the targets 25 yards away. So it was kind of fun.
Nice. That Vegas police officer, or maybe it was a state trooper, I don't know, out there in Nevada, was in a high-speed pursuit, and the guy was shooting at him, and he shot through his own windshield while pursuing. Yeah. While in a high-speed pursuit. Yeah. He took his 40.
Didn't he have his AR hoisted on the dash or something?
Yeah, he got his 40, but it wasn't doing anything, and he got his AR, and I'm like, Huckleberry here, or Hackleberry, what if you...
Huckleberry? Yeah.
Driving with one hand, shotgun with
you. But I think they finally got the car to stop.
It's crazy, and it happens. You just never know, right?
No, you don't. And we're like, we were talking with her. People are nuts. So you just never know what's in somebody's home. I've went in some of the poorest communities and had some of the nicest houses in those communities. I've went to some of the fanciest multi-million-dollar homes and had some of the nastiest.
I know.
Things. So you never know. You can't judge a book by its cover. So.
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, yeah, but
yeah.
Well, guys, unless what were you gonna say, Corey?
No, nothing.
I do have to mention. Hold on, let's see if I can pull it up here real quick. Susan, our friend at protectingtheblue.com. Can I bring it up that way? I don't know. I didn't just kill you guys. Okay, good. She has got one last raffle she wanted us to advertise here. Let me share the screen real quick. They're raising money. I know you guys will remember, but she wants to go give challenge coins to police officers at the police week, right? Memorial. So Protecting the Blue, this is on Facebook. They have out the front knife from Patriot Tactical, cool. And they're looking to give a new home, $5 a ticket. So you can't go wrong there. So I would guess it's probably at least $100 knife, at least.
Every bit.
So worthy cause. Go to protectingtheblue.com or go to Facebook and find Protecting the Blue. Buy your raffle ticket. Drop her a note and tell her you saw it here. And we want to try and get her to Police Week so she can send us some pictures and tell us some great stories. So,
for sure.
Let's do that. And also, there was a police officer in one of my challenge groups. He posted. Of course, I'll never find. Yeah, no, here it is. Good, that's still up. He posted. This is in honor of the new K9 Tyson. He's public safety officer. He's selling the challenge coin, the likeness on to help pay for the K9 program that the department has.
Oh, cool.
So, good cause. If you're in my group, which is Challenge Coin Collectors, I'm the admin. We can, you'll find it there. But I ask him to come on the show and talk about his coin. He was on duty tonight, so
cool.
Still got Officer Farva is working all the time, but he has assured me he will come on the show. He listens to our show diligently, so still got him coming up next week. Who do we have next week? Do you remember either of you two by chance?
No, I don't remember.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I should have pulled this up before. Let me pull it up real quick. We're starting to get pretty dang popular, if I do say so. Next week we have Mark Hill. He's a firefighter paramedic, and he's author of a book called Too Dark 30. He's an educational consultant and lecturer. It's a shame you're not going to be here, Corey, because he's one of the things he teaches is how to go and speak in front of large groups. So it's well, at least tune in or watch us later. So
it's going to be called the Corey class.
Yeah, exactly. But Mark's a great guy. I had him on my other show for some paranormal stuff, for some calls. I mean, paramedics, we always run crazy stuff. And he got to talking about some things that, as well as I do, Andy. If a call comes up between about 1 and 4, there's usually something to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it.
We ended up having 2 medevacs today.
Oh, all right.
One was for a 6-year-old boy, history of seizures, ended up having a massive stroke in the ambulance going to the helicopter, be flown to DC Children's. And then tonight we had a male in his 60s riding his motorcycle, got his leg caught between the back wheel and the frame of the bike and ripped his ankle off.
How do you do that?
I don't know, but they said it was only being held on by maybe 1.25 inches thick piece of skin.
He had to lay it down and it come back on him or something.
He was in extreme pain. I
would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't ride a bike, but I would think that would be very painful. So
yeah,
I'm thinking about my old age when you get an electric scooter, but other than that.
Yeah.
I live in a golf club community in Florida. That's what I'm going to do. So.
Welcome to the Walmart 500. Beep, beep.
Hang straight.
Great.
Well, Corey, next week, be safe.
Yeah.
Send us some messages. Pick up some coins. I wish we had some of our challenge coins to you. We haven't discussed how we're going to get rid of it. So not get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It'll be a good time. Looking forward to getting some more new coins to my collection. So
yeah, maybe you'll get us some more guests.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I've been searching all over for some other guests. So I think I got a DEA agent that's agreed to come on and tell some stories. So I can't wait for that. I think that's the 19th or 20th, I don't know, something like that. So it's a few weeks from now. So I think it's the 19th. So, but yeah.
Well, if I get any contacts down there, I'll message you in our group there of people that might be interested in talking. So
yeah. Or if you get some you want to send coins to, you can let us know too.
There you go.
Yeah,
we can get coins.
If they have any extras, they can send them to us too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When I go to that coin show, I thought about this the other day. I think I'm just going to I've got like a bin of I don't want to say extras, but ones that I've traded for that, aren't really, you guys know I'm not really into the police stuff. So I got quite a few police ones. I mean, if I know your department or something, I like, but or it has to be really cool. Oh, thank you, Miss Jackson. I appreciate that. And she's not related to me that I know of. If I'm thinking I'm going to take that with me, and I'm just going to kind of have it behind the counter for where I'm selling my patches and coins. And if somebody comes over and they're like, "Hey, you got anything to trade?" I'll be like, "What do you got?" And I'll pull it out.
Right.
So I've ended up with a lot of military ones too, and some of them are cool, but I don't really. I mean, it's not my thing. So, but I don't know. We'll see. And then we're going to decide what we're going to do with our coins and our patches. Whether we're going to put them up for sale or, I think guests should certainly get one. I think since taking an hour out of their time at least. So if they'd like one, I think we should at least give them one. So
absolutely.
So. All right, gentlemen. Well, unless you guys have anything more, I'm going to get us out of here with our little theme song. And I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. No, that's not it. And we will be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I want to thank Yerg's Radio for allowing us to be on there. You can check them out at yergsradio.com. Of course, we are the Paranormal Guys on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And then tomorrow night is the Misfit Show. And my newest gig, and Corey, I know you haven't tuned into this yet, the Thin Line Rock Station, www.thethinlinerockstation.com, Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon until 1400. You can find me playing some rock and roll. So shoot me a message. I'll get you a song on there. I've actually, out of all the things I've been doing, that's been the coolest and funnest. I got to be honest. It's kind of cool spinning records. So, love you guys, and I love our fans. Thank you for everything. We will see you next week. Everybody, have a nice evening.
See ya.
Take care.